Okay, so for the optional problems in this level, we are going to look at 3, 4, and 3, 8 in this video. So millimeters, grams, and seconds. Part origin is located at the end, so we'll be extruding away from us. Um, Symmetric, all sketches fully defined, lines, circles, center lines, sketch patterns, trim, offset entities, and sketch fillets. So looking at this, we do have a couple of options. It's not, maybe not readily apparent. The sketch pattern here would be if we draw one quadrant, then we could circular pattern, even though it's a square part, a circular pattern around that. The other option would be to mirror. So we're going to do both of those. So I'm going to utilize some of the tools. We don't have anything too crazy on the geometry, probably the 36 times for the radius. Again, I will lean towards the fillet and use the selection tools to make all of that those edges for the exterior and interior fillets. All right, so front plane. And like I mentioned, I want to do this two ways. So I'm going to generate a layout sketch for my first geometry. So let's go ahead with let's make it a center rectangle, and we'll draw one corner. And I do want to do the corner to corner because I'm going to be able to utilize that in the web thickness in the shape. So we have the 110. Oh, we don't have a an overall, so we're going to rely on the dimensions. Then never mind. We will Control Z. Let's see if I Control Z one more time. That takes dimension out. I do want the 10 millimeters from that point. All right, so the inside square then has 2.5. So yeah, this thing's pretty small with the geometry. Make sure that I told it, yeah, millimeters, grams, and seconds. Just wanted to make sure because, well, 1.5, 2 inches would be really huge for this extrusion. So that kind of makes sense. So let's just pick some geometry and start sketching. And that will come back pretty much to there. All right, so if I've done that correctly, then I should be able to control select. Oh, I got the midpoint in there. So choice here is to start over or try to reselect the midpoint. I'm not seeing it. So point, there shouldn't be any points. We'll go ahead and delete that out of the group. And then when I mirror, well, that was close. But the geometry is going to come back to how well I can make these parallel. So I may have let's go ahead and run this out since this is an optional video, and I would like to see what it does. So making that vertical, that brings it back to that point. All right, so let's get some dimensions in here and see if that helps with our geometry. So the thickness. Well, let's go with the 2.5 for the from the center point up. All right, 2.5. 1.5 typical. So there we go. That was what I was looking for. 1.5 on the sides and 1.5 through the center. Okay, so those are starting to look pretty good, but the overall is still pretty big. So let's see, I should have one more dimension. Let's see if putting the 2 millimeters. Now, when we do the diametral, radial, or the half dimension and the full dimension, picking between an object and the center line means that we're going to get the radial or the half dimension. When I go to the opposite side, then I'm going to get the full or the diametral dimension. So that's why the D pops up when we create that geometry. So interestingly enough, I am still not seeing the overall. So if it's hiding in plain sight, oh, 2 millimeters from the top. So we still have an addition, 2 millimeters. All right, so that's looking better and doing pretty good. So we'll go ahead and finish up this sketch. And when I do something kind of out of the norm, I will rename this as a layout sketch or an envelope or something that tells me what I was trying to accomplish with this. All right, so my first geometry, we'll go back into the sketch plane. We'll do the mirror. I know they didn't mention the mirror, and this is about features and patterns, but mirror in effect is a pattern. So I don't want to redraw all of this, so I'm going to select, Control select all of these lines, and we have this tool called Convert Entities that will bring those edges into this sketch and make them so that they have an on-edge relation, and then we can do whatever we want with that geometry without affecting the original sketch. So I do need some lines, some center lines to mirror about. A construction line, center line, again, are the same thing. So let's go ahead and window pick. Let's see, that's going to get everything. So I should go from right to left, make sure I have everything picked and highlighted. Then we'll control select the center line and mirror the entities. All right, and then going right to left again, I can deselect my center line, go select the horizontal center line that I actually want to mirror about, and end up with my full shape. All right, so one of the reasons that I don't want to do sketch geometry, well, I could have put the sketches here, 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 or the sketch fillets here, 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 here. It just I think the feature fillet's still going to be easier. So let's draw our circle, put a dimension on it, and go with the 2 millimeters. We'll go ahead and extrude this out to the 110. All right, it's coming towards us. The drawing shows there, the isometric view shows it going away. So we will pick up that sketch or finish creating that feature. The layout sketch is still shown, so at some point we would want to hide that just to kind of clean up our geometry. And the radius is 0.25. So clicking on it, waiting for that context menu, and then going to fillet, we can enter the 0.25. We'll glance over at the fillet parameters, make sure it's populating the box, and then come back and pick the other geometries. So that looks like it got everything, inside, outsides, and a lot of them. All right, and if we wanted to check, we do have 36 selected, and that gives us our geometry. The volume then on this one, 9921. So let's go evaluate, mass properties, and we got the 9920 and some change. So that one's pretty good. And at this point, then I want to go back, and we did the mirror. I want to finish with the pattern. So I select, and I can control select but because the dynamic is showing me that this is a child feature, when I suppress for Boss Extrude 1, it also suppresses the fillet. So I can show that again. We'll go Control 1 so it puts me normal 2 and zooms up on the screen. We'll open up the sketch. So let's see if I can select chain this time. And if I convert entity, select chain, convert entity. All right, that's a little easier than doing the select control select, but either one gets us there. So we will close off the corner and we pick from left to right, gets everything included. We go into the circular pattern and there will be 4 of those. Not really dimensioning a radius. The equal spacing is fine. Do want to select the origin if it'll let me have it. Doesn't seem to be picking that one. All right, maybe because the sketch is there. So I don't really want to leave that empty. So let's go to the flyout. No, it's really not going to let me pick one of those. All right, well, let's see what happens. This will be interesting. All right, try one more time. Circular sketch pattern. And the geometry is pointed to the right location there. No. There we go. I picked the point. Not sure why that didn't select, but all right. So we see the preview. So a few less steps than the mirror, but it still gets the geometry in place. All right. So we need a dimension of 2 millimeters. And then we're ready to extrude. The value is carried over from the mirror feature. And if I check, well, the origin's on this end now, which that'll be okay. We'll unsuppress the other features and see what it looks like. We still have the 0.25. We'll pick another edge, pick all of those geometries, and hit OK. All right, so the reason that we're suppressing is that if I go into the evaluate and look at the mask properties, we have our 9921. But if I go back to the fillet, and in this case unsuppress the fillet, then the parent feature has to be unsuppressed as well. And let's see, was this set as merge? Because we still have one solid body, so this was set to merge. If I wanted to see these as 2 separate items, we would uncheck, and then we would have that be able to hide, and we would have that separation line between the other 2. All right, so with the merge, it's going to add it the other way, and then our mask properties effectively doubles. All right, so interesting approach to our geometry. We'll go ahead and save this as 3.4 and close it out, and then we're going to take a look at 3.8. All right, so 3.8, let's see, we might as well check while we're scrolling through there. 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, and 3.8. All right, so 3.8 still in millimeters. Origin is at the center and back. Lines, circles, polygons, sketch patterns. Not really sure what they're doing polygons for. Okay, well, we'll go with that. We'll stay with the sketch patterns and then the extrude boss. So let's fly this out and we'll get the geometry where I can see it. New part millimeter. We're going to draw a couple of circles. The outside circles are on the circumference. So I didn't pre-select, so it's asking me to pick the for the front plane, and we had a radius of 90 and an outside of 115. So we'll do those two. And I don't want to draw too many circles and get too carried away before. And that one's still wanting to stay linear, so we'll move it away a little bit. 115, and then 90. All right, we're looking for a quadrant that is convenient. So the 0 degree would work for this. And that geometry is 9 on the interior and 16 on the exterior. So let's go ahead, 16 and 9. All right, and then the two that we need to pattern were the last circles. So let's go circular sketch pattern. It goes back to that center, but if it'll let me select the point, that gives me a little more control over it. We have a total of 6 in our geometry, and we'll go ahead and see if that's okay. All right, so that went fully defined, and now we could trim, but I'm okay with the contours and regions. So if you want to trim, let's just look at that. I'd do trim to closest, and I would trim there, there, and there times 6. I don't really want to do that because even though I'm going to have to select the regions, I still feel a little bit better about doing that. And if I need to have different heights, share the sketch, create different geometries, I have that option with all of the geometry intact. So that one out of the 6 got the contour. So notice region, 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 and one contour. So I can either reselect that. Okay, how about we just go ahead and highlight that, right click and delete. And I'll make sure that I'm inside. Oh, interesting. That was the one. Oh, I guess it did it on all of them. Well, that'll be fun. Let's go back and make sure that I'm getting all of those in. It still would have been 2 selections, so let's see. Let's pick this one. Since that popped up, that is a good point to make, is that since that one became a contour and it filled in, then I would want to go back and select the interior contour to have it the same thing. So I can either pick the 2 regions or pick the 2 contours. All right, does not look like there's fillets in any of the corners. So let's go find a volume, 5984, and evaluate mass properties, and 42644. Wow. Okay, I think I missed something there, or I made a pretty big assumption. So 60 degrees, 16, 9. All right, well, we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna do the we got pretty good luck on the last couple, so this one is out there a little bit. All right, well, if I find it, we'll come back and revisit it, but otherwise call this good.